Trump is truly working to end the Federal Reserve. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was created that is not federal nor the reserved. In 1913, we stopped tariffing other countries and started taxing our people. So in 1913, the Federal Reserve was created, which is not federal nor reserve, which is a group of bankers that created banking cartel, and they also started taxing the people. Since 1913, the US dollar's collapsed almost 96 to 97%. And do you remember on my channel here, since 2020, I've been showing you that Trump said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before you know it. It's easy to see with the facts, figures, numbers, logic by studying history, Ray Dalio's Changing World Order, the fourth turning, to know that we're in a massive systematic change in your financial system. And if you're not awake yet, I'll tell you what, this week woke up sleeping giants. It's your responsibility at a very deep level to stop mindlessly scrolling, to start studying this at a very, very deep level, and understand that if you don't beat inflation every single year, you become poor. And here's what I'm going to tell you. They're about to start lowering these interest rates, and every single dollar in your bank account is going to become worthless. It's collapsed 96 to 97%. This is not your grandparents' economy. This is not your parents' economy. And if you don't wake up to understand how to become an investor and learn how to beat inflation, that's your number one goal, is to learn how to beat inflation. Once you learn how to beat inflation, you need to learn how to richest man in Babylon multiply that money. That should be your mission. Not meme coins, not get rich quick, becoming an intelligent investor and understanding that markets never go straight up. Everything goes in a cycle. Everything goes in a wave of energy. What goes up will always, always come down. And you've learned to ride these waves like the elites do. Remember, your emotions are their profits, and you understand that nothing ever goes in a straight line. You will do very well in these markets. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to continue this conversation on Monday, how Trump is starting to dismantle the Federal Reserve, and he's putting his money and his family's wealth where his mouth is. And stay till the end. I'm going to show you a very, very special thing that you can actually be involved in, a historical documentary that we are filming to show how broken this system is. So let's dive right in. So again, the sleeping giants have been woken up, guys. This week was a very, very interesting week. I'm not going to continue to reiterate it. Yesterday was a hard day for everybody, but now it's time to step into that truth. It's time to praise God with all of your heart. Don't be afraid, if you love Jesus Christ, to honor Jesus Christ. Okay. We need to walk in love. We need to walk in unity, and we need to get our shit together. It's not about putting blinders on to evil. It's about standing up for what you believe in and speaking your truth boldly. And if you're the head of the household, women, head of the household, and men, if you're not taking care of your family, it is time to get your shit together spiritually, mentally, financially, and physically. I know this channel is not for everybody because I'm going to talk directly to you. As long as I can wake up one person every single day and impact one person's life, that's all that I care about. So it's God, family, protecting our ecosystem at all costs, putting those blinders on, staying out of other men's business. You're too busy working on it. Not blinders to evil, because evil does exist. But get out of other people's business and get your shit together physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. Okay, let's dive in. So first, President Trump, okay, his latest post on True Social claims the Federal Reserve is broke and needs to be fixed. Well, he's putting his money where his mouth is, and I'll share with you what he's going to do to fix it. This is Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary. Remember, we went from Janet Yellen, who didn't even know what our debt was in front of Congress. She had to go through a PowerPoint, and we're all sitting there going, we're at 35 trillion in debt. She literally had to go through a PowerPoint. Scott Bessent is a juggernaut in business. He understands how to grow this way out of our economy. He has Howard Lutnick. He has Scott Bessent. He has David Sachs. Now he's connected to the Witkoff family with the World Liberty Financial. They are dismantling the central bank, which is not federal, or excuse me, the Federal Reserve, which is not federal, nor is it reserve. They are decentralizing the system, and the old system is panicking right now.
Treasury Secretary, thank you very much. Can you fix this? Can you and EJ and Tony, can you get EJ in there to fix the Bureau of Labor Statistics before any more damage is done?
Well, Larry, good to be with you. And it's a real problem. As you said, if the Fed says they're data dependent and the data has been atrocious, then it seems like there's probably some makeup cuts in order here, or the size of this month's cut needs to be recalibrated. And sure, it could be fixed. Anything can be fixed. You just have to first, we had to establish that it was broken, which President Trump did. Now we have to go about fixing it. And it wasn't working well before that. Kind of this lazy notion that they had dropped down to these low response rates, 30-40% response rates, and they intuited the balance. Intuiting the balance is going from quantitative to qualitative. We need good empirical data, and that's it's not easy to get to, but you got to want to get there, and we want to get there. I think EJ is a great person to do it. I've known him for years. He's high integrity, data driven, the ruthless truth pursuer.
Oh, ruthless truth pursuer. Okay, so here's the thing. The Fed says they're not lowering interest rates because they're data dependent. They don't even look futuristic. Like, we're data dependent. Their data wasn't even correct. So think about this. Since Federal Reserve was created in 1913, which is not federal nor reserves, I'll keep repeating the same thing. They're bankers that created a system that controls your money supply and interest rates. And then they stopped doing tariffs. They stopped tariffing other countries and started taxing our people. We're at 130% debt to income ratio. There's no money in the system, guys. They want to lower interest rates. They have to lower interest rates. There's no choice. But the Fed is making decisions on your life and your ability to take care of your family based on data that isn't even accurate. So there's a whole rewiring the system. And I guarantee you, and I'm boldly going to say this, that I believe Trump will dismantle the Fed and bring it underneath the government. It's not even a governmental agency. We all thought that for the longest time. They're not even part of the government. Think about that. They control our money supply and job markets, and they don't even report to the president. That's crazy. Okay. So latest White House reiterates Trump's, I think it's supposed to say message here, that there is no inflation and Jerome Powell must lower interest rates. So we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got 6 days till we get the announcement on interest rates. And basically what Scott Besson is saying that they should go pretty heavy on interest rates. I'm going to predict a 0.25%. Hopefully they go harder, but that's going to increase your assets big time. This is a key. Okay, to beat inflation, you have to be investing in assets. If we run 2% inflation, you have to beat the hurdle rate, guys. If you are not an investor and you're storing cash, you become poor every single year. Who becomes wealthier when you store cash? The banks. They're not letting your money sit there. They're beating the hurdle rate. They're beating inflation. Okay. This was posted by CoinDesk's opinion. U.S. government's crypto pivot is a pragmatic response to national debt. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sees stablecoins as uniquely efficient channel for boosting Treasury demand, with the Genius Act effectively channeling those inflows to government debt. So you got Trump now, who writes the rules, okay, signs the checks, and you got his family that runs the trust that has now the #1 fastest growing stable coin in the world. Trump said 7 years ago, you are going to be on an even playing field monetarily before you know it in his first presidency. Now that he came back, he's the crypto capital of the world. We own the most Bitcoin by country. Okay. His family has one of the fastest growing stable coins in the world, which is a worldwide stable coin. He's dismantling the central bank. He's dismantling the Federal Reserve. This is a decentralized platform. And I told you guys, I am stacking World Liberty Financial every single week now. It's going to be kind of like it'll probably climb up into my top 4. Okay. I'm actually, my top 3 are XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. Top 6 are XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain. It is going to quickly probably climb up into my top 4. To me, this is like an XRP move. So historical, now USD1 is a stable coin. And then you have WLFI. This is your WLFI token. Okay. So this is, you can get it on Coinbase, but I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just telling you what I'm doing exactly. Okay. So now this is an important moment right here. I'm going to show you. I'm actually part of this documentary. I want to make it very clear. I haven't been paid for any of this type of stuff. I'm supporting this documentary. We did all pro bono work with this type of stuff. You're going to see some of the top people in the financial space in the world in this documentary. We are working hard to educate the public. Okay, now these are self-funded documentaries. Fruition is completely self-funded. They went to go self-funding route, so nobody control the content, nobody control what's put in here, and they can speak the truth. What's special about this is not only can you pre-order the documentary now, but if you do a donation, you can actually be featured in the documentary, have your name in the documentary. So this is completely self-funded. Want to be very clear. I've not been paid a dime for this, nor was I paid for the other documentary as well. I did this completely pro bono to make sure that I can help get this information out to as many human beings as possible. This is very important to me. Okay, very, very important to me to get this information. I want to make sure that people understand how to take sovereignty of their wealth, how to take sovereignty of your investments. So this is the new documentary that will be coming out in December, Money Disrupted. And down below in the description of this video on my social media platform on YouTube, you'll be able to go down there. You can pre-order the documentary, or you can do a donation to help fund the documentary to get your name in the credits in a historical documentary. So check this out.
You will find the heart of America here. The decline of American manufacturing jobs is a serious concern, as many companies choose to move their operations overseas.
How did this dramatic income inequality happen on such a wide scale?
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
The U.S. came off the gold standard August 15th, 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window. Since then, we've had floating exchange rates with the rest of the world.
The majority of Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living.
Every day is a struggle for me. I still have to worry about where my next meal is coming from.
Even eggs has gone up to $5 or $6 per dozen.
It all began in November of 1910. The Federal Reserve System was conceived. For all these years, we've had something which most people have thought was a government operation of some kind or another.
It's not. What is it? It's a cartel.
There's been massive money creation in the U.S. When they create a lot of money, that devalues our buying power. And this has gone on to such an extent that 40% of all the money that's in existence in the U.S. dollar was now created since the pandemic.
Here you go, guys. Let's play central bank, because it's even easier than what I'm showing you. Originally, when we were on a gold standard, gold and silver were actually the money.
The only way we get out of the rat race of inflation and endless money printing and debt slavery is to return to sound money principles.
Bitcoin's now 16 years old. It's never been hacked. It's an extraordinary invention.
This is just the beginning. A new era of financial freedom where individuals can control their own money.
As you know, I was a skeptic. Yes! I believe Bitcoin is legitimate.
I'm a believer in stablecoin, a believer in blockchain.
I think crypto trading is going to become the infrastructure layer behind real world assets.
We have to go back to sound money. We have to get our balance sheet in order. We have to stop irresponsibly spending money.
There's so many innovative technologies coming in, cryptocurrency, AI technology. What you should be doing is studying how to become an investor in those types of markets and those assets.
When I was in Zimbabwe, it collapsed. And these young kids come up with their AK-47s. And I said, well, taking your money. So when this collapsed, Law and Order collapsed. It's coming to America.
The rising cost of food is driving an affordability crisis.
Crime on the rise.
A rise in crime.
We have a pandemic of lawlessness.
And the Fed.
And the Fed. We want to end the Fed.
And the Fed, let's go.
And the Fed. And the Fed.
History in the making, guys. This is a moment in time, you know, after this week of what happened, is they've woken up sleeping giants. And what I mean by that is Our faith is at an all-time high. I want you to take a look at a few things. Bible sales are through the roof. People, like some things I've been observing lately, is about 2 to 3 years ago, a UFC fighter or an athlete, when they talked about Jesus Christ, would literally be cut off, or they would cut off that part. I've noticed lately that almost every single UFC fighter that wins honors Jesus Christ, honors God. There's an awakening happening spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. And nobody's going to stop it. This week was very tough for humanity. And I'll tell you what, it's time to get focused. It's time to get disciplined. It's time to get uncomfortable. Because what you've been taught since you were a young little boy and girl was an indoctrination system to teach you to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, keep your mouth shut, don't question the system. Hopefully you can get Social Security. But that system is completely broken. The American dream is dead. But you can awaken the American dream by taking sovereignty in one of the freest countries in the world of your decisions, your actions, your behaviors. And men, I'm talking to you. What did your last 7 days look like? Did you exercise? What did your spending look like? Does your family feel safe and protected? Can you physically, financially, and spiritually protect your family? And men in this country need to wake up. And we need to band together, not to fight back. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking fighting your own demons inside of you. Looking in the mirror every single night and saying, did I do what I need to do to move the needle forward? Putting the phone down, putting the lust down, and putting the focus on. The last 5 years, I've devoted my life to understanding microeconomics, economic cycles by studying Ray Dalio, studying how billionaires move money through the system, and how spiritually, mentally, and physically they work to separate us at a deep level. And I'll tell you what, there's something that I've found, is that it always comes back to one thing and one thing only. Study Ray Dalio. Last 500 years, he studied this, guys, and he predicted it to the T. We are now in what's called civil war, the separation inside of a country. And the cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. It comes down to one thing every single time. It's you. It's you. It's how you respond. It's what will you do this time. You can argue all day on social media. You can post your opinion all day. But the only thing that will happen is what you're doing in darkness. Because what's done in darkness always comes to light. And that's what you're experiencing. It's your discipline, your actions, your behaviors done for a long enough period of time to access a new paradigm. So what will you do as we move forward? And what I'm going to promise you is it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. Because to rewire the subconscious mind, the deep-rooted subconscious mind programming since you were a young child is going to take effort. But damn well, it's going to be worth it. Because freedom is here, and freedom is here. Because if you're bold enough to say it, if you're bold enough to speak it, and you're bold enough to walk it, and you're bold enough to get uncomfortable and suffer with purpose before it's necessary to suffer, I promise you, you will have it. But there is no get rich quick. That's why casinos give free drinks and free rooms. There is no get rich quick. You don't want to get rich quick. You want to get wealthy for sure by building a system, a process, spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. I have a spiritual walk process. I have a physical walk process. I have a financial ecosystem that I follow. And I have my blinders on. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what any other man is doing. What I'm doing is I'm focused on what I think is right for my family. And I'll leave you with this. You should have a creed for your family. For me, it's God. I will honor God on my channel, in private, all the time. I will pray on Twitter. I'm going to honor God in everything I do. It is number one in my life. God is number one in my life. Jesus Christ is number one in my life. Number two is family. Family comes second to everything. So within the physical compound of the world, the 3D world, family is number one. God is number one of it all. So next is family. What does that mean? It is my job. My suffering is their peace. My discipline is their relaxation. My ability to train physically is their ability to feel safe. As men, we're here to suffer for our families. And next is my ecosystem. I built 6 ecosystems in information, technology, attention, and financial services. It is my responsibility to make good decisions, actions, behaviors, because I'm not only responsible for my family, I'm responsible for 27 team members worldwide and 13,000 customers in one of our communities and 2,300 in another. And so it's very important for me to make sure that every decision, action, and behavior that I'm aiming for perfection, knowing it's not possible, but it must be the aim. I will screw up, but I will make it right. So it's God, family, protect your ecosystem at all costs. And what I mean by stay out of other men's business, I'm too busy working on mine, is I have blinders on, not blinders to evil, not blinders to the darkness within the world. That's why I train. That's why I protect. That's why I have these parameters in place, because when darkness comes into my world, I'm ready to slay the darkness. But damn well, I'm not focused on anybody else other than what I need to do to look in the mirror every single night and say, did I move the needle forward? And I know that this works because I finally grew up in 2020 when they took my business away. I realized that I was relying on another man or woman to take care of my family. They shut my business down and it woke me up like a giant, just like this week woke up my spiritual giant even more. I was like, okay, all right. I'm going to take this pain and I'm going to transmute it into honoring God even more on every single platform I have, and being grateful for the fact that God and Jesus Christ have changed my life, my businesses, financially, spiritually, and mentally. And I will stand on that. So what I ask you is, what do you stand on? What are your principles? What is your family creed? And how focused are you? Because I'll tell you what, the next 6 years is the most critical time in your living history. And what I do know for as a fact, is out of 100 people, there's always one warrior. We've coached 13,000 people since 2020, and I run into people all the time that are in the exact same position from 5 years ago. And all they do is they throw out excuse after excuse after excuse. And if they went through my training program, I say, you know the answer. It's you. It's not the government. It's not your church. It's not your spouse. It's not them. It's you. It's your actions, your behaviors, and most of all, your reactions. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. It's time to get our shit together. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.